If I told you your menstrual cycle was a blueprint that you could utilize to your advantage, would you believe me? In today's video, we are going to be talking all about cycle syncing. We're going to be discussing what cycle syncing is, why you may want to practice it, and how to get started. Oh, and in case you're new here, my name's Berrion. I'm a menstrual health educator and integrative health practitioner who focuses on menstrual health and wellness. So today I want to take some time to share with you probably my favorite practice when it comes to menstrual health and wellness, which is cycle syncing. Cycle syncing is literally aligning all aspects of your life to reflect your menstrual cycle. I know, it sounds a little weird, but hear me out. There are 4 phases to your menstrual cycle. In each phase of your cycle, your body is doing something a little bit different. So if you learn how to effectively cycle sync, you're then able to utilize it to your advantage. Now, I'm going to run through the phases really quickly for you, and then we'll talk about how you can utilize these things to your advantage. The first phase of your menstrual cycle is called menstruation. This is literally when you're on your period, when the uterine lining is shedding, and typically your hormones levels are in somewhat of an off position. And you'll notice your energy feels a little bit chiller, right? The second phase of your cycle, so this is post-period but pre-ovulation, is called the follicular phase. This is when your hormone levels, especially your estrogen and follicle stimulating hormones, are on the rise, and you'll notice that you're starting to feel a little bit more like you want to connect with the external world, a little zestier, right? And then we have our third phase, which is called ovulation. Now, ovulation is known for one thing and one thing alone: your fertile window, but really more specifically, the egg being released from your ovary. During this time, there's actually a surge in your hormones, specifically in your estrogen, your luteinizing hormone, your testosterone. And most people will know that they are ovulating because 1, you can check your panties and find out, but number 2, you'll feel this incredible surge of energy. So that's ovulation. And that then takes us to our 4th and final phase called the luteal phase, or as most of you know it, PMS. I love to say this is actually not premenstrual syndrome, but rather personal mystery solved. And during this phase, you're typically feeling a little bit lower energy and just uninterested. Maybe you're a little bit more irritable and different things like that. And that's because there's a shift in your hormones. Your estrogen goes from being way up to kind of actually plummeting, which is natural and pretty normal. So those are the 4 phases. Now, why you want to cycle sync is because if you can align things in your life to match these phases of your cycle, 1, you can be a better performer, and I am somebody who loves high performance of any kind. But number 2, you can utilize your brain functionality. Believe it or not, your menstrual cycle starts in your brain to your advantage, so you can make better decisions, you can run your business, you can even work out. Everything you can do really is in sync with your cycle. Now, why you would want to do this is so that we can avoid things such as hormonal imbalances, or avoid things such as feeling burnt out, or chronic fatigue and chronic stress, or other chronic conditions. So that's actually why you want to practice cycle syncing. That's it for today's video. I hope I helped you understand what cycle syncing is, why you may want to practice it. Oh wait, that's not it for today's video. Let me give you some quick tips on how to start. So the first thing that you want to do is really understand the phases of your cycle. Now, we just ran through those phases really quick, but I'm going to give you one of my hot tips. It's 2 for me and 2 for you, meaning there's 2 phases of your cycle really focused on your internal world and your internal needs, and 2 phases of your cycle really for the external world and the external needs. So the 2 phases for me, right, in my internal world are going to be my PMS and my period phases, okay? So this is going to be called your luteal phase and your menstrual phase. Those are the ones where you really want to focus in on your internal world and what you're personally needing, mind, body, and spirit. Then the 2 for the external world are going to be your follicular, so post-period, and ovulatory, preludial, like upcoming PMS phase, right? So this is going to be really for that external world. Now, something I want to note is that your ovulatory phase is actually only about 16 to 32 hours in length. However, most people do feel the effects of it for longer than that. So I like to say, for anybody who's just starting out, just think 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it's a little bit easier. My second tip for you is to download a period tracking app. Let me grab my phone really quick. If you have not downloaded a period tracking app yet, or you are not utilizing the Apple Health app, I need you to start, okay? So I use a period tracking app called thermometer, okay? This app is absolutely phenomenal. I recommend that everybody have it because you can put a lot of information in, and I also do like to recommend that people get the premium version, and that's because if you're somebody who's really interested in hormonal balance and understanding cycle syncing and how your period and cycle all work and twerk in this greater scheme of your health and wellness, this is a great app because there's so much information. The second app I like to recommend is the Apple Health app. Now, the Apple Health app is something I use for probably 4 years or so, and I just switched over to thermometer, and I am so grateful that I did. The Apple Health app is definitely just a very basic way to track your cycle, but if you're somebody who loves details and nitty-gritty things and you want to track your mood, your symptoms, what you're feeling in your body, you want to track your cervical fluid or your cervical mucus, you want to track your cervix placement or how frequently you've had sex, whether it was protected or not protected, you can do that in the thermometer app. So that's going to be my second tip. And then my third and final tip is to find your go-to person. Listen, there's a lot of information out on the internet and a lot of different people who specialize in a specific area. But if you're somebody who really wants to hone in on one specific thing, you need to find your go-to person. Now, naturally, if you're watching this, I would love to be your go-to person for all things related to your period. So if you like to hear, also love science, sexiness, and simplicity, this is definitely going to be the place. So make sure you hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe. As always, I'm sending you big love and flowy vibes, and I'll talk to you next time.